Welcome back to the Crypto's Key Conversation. We're going to quickly touch on CoinGecko here. We're still sitting at a $2.18 trillion market cap. Bitcoin sitting at 43,000, Ethereum sitting at 3,300, Binance Coin still sitting at 488, Tether is Tether, Solana sitting at 145, almost 146, Cardano sitting at 128, XRP sitting at 77 cents still, DOT sitting at 27, and Terra sitting at 81. And then there's still some green, just small green. We got a little 8% here with FTX token. But the market's looking pretty decent. There's been some chatter going on in the space talking about why aren't we, taking off more, kind of what's going on. So I came across this article here that was saying the U.S. retail sales sink 1.9% as Omicron high prices and shortages trigger biggest drop in 10 months. So there's been a lot of articles coming over the past few days talking about like the sell-off of tech stocks. And there's been conversations and chatters about, these big investors are categorizing, Bitcoin and the crypto market as tech stocks when it's really not. It's literally, as they say, our hardest asset that we have. And as we view it as the true hedge to, inflation of what's going on, with the US dollar. But articles like this, whether we like it or not, there's some sort of correlation to the regular market. So when articles like this and information and statistics like this come out, it's definitely going to play, some sort of toll and have an impact on the crypto market that, we so love and care about. The numbers: sales at U.S. retailers such as Target and Amazon sank 1.9% in December, the biggest drop in 10 months, as the Omicron variant of the Rona spread like wildfire and shoppers confronted higher prices and shortages of some popular products. So, I mean, it's just the reality we live. I mean, some people say, this isn't, the crypto market isn't correlated with the regular market, but, in reality, people are people, humans are humans. And when it comes to their money and investments, stuff that comes out like this, it worries some people. So there's going to be some sort of sell-off at times with, negative articles like this. It's just a reality. But with all that being said, we talked about inflation and having a hedge against it, utilizing Bitcoin, the cryptocurrencies, to kind of help protect and make sure that your worth, your net worth, and your money isn't being dwindled by inflation. So utilizing Bitcoin and crypto as a hedge. And with all that being said, no matter what's going on, all this negative information, negative statistics that come out, the FUD that's in the market, it doesn't change that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are being heavily adopted. And it's no secret that this is the future. So if you're an investor out there, and this is my personal opinion because I have high conviction on this space, it's just like, we shouldn't be super shaken out about what's going on. You should be, me personally, I'm going to continue to accumulate, have a certain allocation of my portfolio held for the long term. The point is adoption is happening and it's quite evident. Here goes another one. So we just had a conversation on a couple past videos where we're talking about, Bitcoin's adoption when it comes to, different countries. So here's one: a Brazilian mayor to reportedly invest 1% of city's reserves in Bitcoin. Coming down here, it's Eduardo Paes. We're going to launch Crypto Rio and invest 1% of the treasury in cryptocurrency. The government has a role to play, Baez reportedly said, adding that the state is also planning to introduce tax exemptions for the industry. The panel also included major Brazilian officials like City Finance Secretary Pedro Paulo, who noted that the administration is considering a 10% discount on property tax in Brazil on payments with Bitcoin. Let's study the legal framework to do this. So this is just another. And Brazil is massive. It's a massive country. So to see this, it's just literally like a ripple effect or a domino effect. So one after another. So obviously we know that, the Miami mayor had invested the city's treasury reserves in Bitcoin. And then last year, El Salvador became the first nation to buy Bitcoin on its balance sheet. So there's just been so much adoption going on. And then even recently we had Tonga to copy El Salvador's bill making Bitcoin legal tender. So it's happening. It may not happen at the rate we like, but it's absolutely happening. So even with all this, FUD or negative articles or whatever the case is, affecting the markets, it in the grand scheme of things, zoom out. It really doesn't matter. It's being adopted. It's the future. And I truly have high conviction on that. That's just my personal opinion. Another thing here. So you have Kevin O'Leary, who had, reservations against Bitcoin, the crypto market, not even that long ago, but now Shark Tank investor Kevin O'Leary compares volatile crypto markets to Google, Microsoft, and Amazon. Like that's saying a lot. This is somebody that had, negative views on it, but now comparing them to Google, Microsoft, and Amazon. So I recently posted a video on Kevin O'Leary talking about, why he viewed, the crypto market and Bitcoin like, Google and Amazon and Microsoft. And here's quickly what he said.
Kevin, we know the new year brings a lot of headwinds, but there are also lots of opportunities. So what is the biggest opportunity for investors as you see it in the new year?
Well, the one that I really found interesting over the last 24 months has been crypto and blockchain technologies and tokens and NFTs. You have to make a binary decision about this stuff. And this is very difficult for many institutions. I talk to them every day because I'm in the indexing business, and many of them have not even started their journey into cryptocurrencies. But the reason you should think about it is this. This is how I wrap my head around it, and I think it helps investors to think this way. If you invest in Microsoft and Google and Amazon and so many of these other platforms, what is the core you're investing in? It's basically software. Google software. Well, Bitcoin is not a coin, it's actually software. The blockchain is software. Ethereum is software. HBAR is software. Polygon is software. So the real decision is if you're willing to invest in software because it's a productivity tool as an equity, such as Google, why wouldn't you invest in software such as Ethereum? Because it provides a service, particularly in payment systems, that is being used globally. And that's sort of my investment thesis. And then the question is which coins, which tokens, which blockchains? And for that, I apply the same rules of diversification I apply to my stocks and bonds. No more than 5% in any one position, no more than 20% in the whole sector. So I'm not anywhere near 20% in crypto. I've just gone over 10.7 in our operating company, but I have a plethora of positions. And I'm going to make this decision there that this is even more volatile than technology equities. And it certainly is. Bitcoin's having one of its worst starts ever. But you have to get used to it, just like you had to get used to Amazon, where it would have these 30 to 50% corrections. Same thing with Bitcoin.
So as you can see, Kevin O'Leary has a total different standpoint on, Bitcoin and the crypto market, as we speak. He just literally said, over 10.7% is allocated to this space when he was literally totally against it, not too long ago. So it's happening. And also we have Mark Cuban, another Shark Tank. Mark Cuban says 80% of his investment that aren't on Shark Tank are crypto related. Here's where I look to invest. So right here he says, the investments I'm making now are not in traditional businesses, Cuban said. The problem with Jon Stewart podcast, in fact, 80% of the investments that I make that are not on Shark Tank are in or around cryptocurrencies. So pretty much right here, he's talking about, the DAOs, and that is really where I look to invest. So he really likes DAOs and, DeFi and stuff. So all these new businesses are being formulated now that take this new approach. So long story short, he's big into, NFTs, DAOs, decentralized finance. The point is it's happening. You have these whales, these massive investors, these massive celebrities that are adopting and really buying into, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, DeFi, all those different things because they see where this is going. Also, there's an article on Cointelegraph, and it says 70% of U.S. crypto holders started investing in 2021. So obviously we had a huge spike of investors, institution and retail. Just this past year in 2021, it says 46% respondents reporting having $1,000 or less in crypto, while another 25% said they held between 1,000 and 10,000. So keep this in mind. Whether this report and this survey was done, correctly, and all these numbers and figures are, relevant and correct. The point is like it's happening. Like I said, it may not be at our pace, but adoption is happening. People are being aware of what's going on. So another huge topic is there's been a lot of fear, as we can see the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index. We're still sitting at a 21, which is extreme fear. So we put up a video going over, how the Fear and Greed Index can be a reliable indicator when it comes to, your investment strategies. But as you can see, we've been in fear for a while now. Last month, last week, yesterday, now. So there's a lot of uncertainty in the market right now, and that's just due to FUD, stuff that comes out from the Fed, CPI stuff, a decrease in retail purchases, and just a whole bunch of different things that are affecting the market. But just like I told you, there's been so much adoption, that's been happening. You have Brazil, and you have Tonga, and you have, Miami and El Salvador, and then you have, Kevin O'Leary, Mark Cuban, and there's so many people and so many institutions and, retail investors and countries that are really buying into this crypto space and this crypto market because they see where it's going. So it's happening. So with all this fear, it literally it's just shaking people out. Me personally, me and my wife, we're just accumulating when we can, and holding strong until we feel enticed enough, based on where the market's at, to start taking some profit on our assets. We have high conviction on this space. We truly believe this is going to be our future, so we want to be a part of that. So with that being said, the big issue is, where's the bottom? We keep falling. Bitcoin keeps falling. Is it over? Are we in a bear market? One of the analysts I follow just answered a question when he was asked whether 40K is our new 30K, and I wanted to show you. So this is Benjamin Cowan. This is Rob from Digital Asset News, Benjamin Cowan, the Cryptoverse, and then we have James from Invest Answers. And this is James here. He's going to answer Ben's question of whether 40K is the new 30K. And this is DCA, where they come on as a trio and just kind of talk about, market sentiment and where they think the market's going and kind of what's going on in the space.
The first thing we'd like to start with, the first question, and I'll start with James over at Invest Answers. Do you think that 40K is the new 30K in the sense of, are we going to be flirting with this 40K level for a while with maybe brief wicks below it, kind of like we had at 30K? Do you see it holding? Well, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's funny. It's definitely 40 is the new 30. I think I touched on that on Tuesday in a video myself. I look at kind of the market in terms of steps, and we gradually progress with more adoptions where we're going. But just to talk about why I believe the direction is going to go up, and there will be no breaching down far below 40Ks. First of all, Fidelity started adding Bitcoin exposure to their new portfolio funds up in Canada. And they predict a lot more sovereign adoption. We have Tonga adopting. I know it's a small country, but it's another domino that's falling. Rio de Janeiro putting 1% of the treasuries into Bitcoin. The Jack Dorsey news, Cash App integrating with Lightning, 68% of Swiss private banks intend to offer Bitcoin to their clients. And I could just talk on and on about the snowfall, the avalanche of goodness that's happened so far this year. It's crazy. And this can only mean one thing, and that is more Bitcoin adoption. On top of the 125, 150 million people that are already in crypto, that's going to be, 300, 500 billion people within no time. And Bitcoin is the scarcest, hardest asset on this earth. So from my perspective, yes, 40K will be a floor, but we're going to be leaving that floor pretty soon. And in fact, I think it was the CEO of Nexos said he expects a doubling of Bitcoin to 100K by June. And he said that with absolute conviction.
So that's just another perspective, from, an analyst. He, analyzes, all different forms of the market when it comes to, looking at TA stuff, looking at, fundamentals, market sentiment. He kind of just looks at everything. And this trio is actually pretty great information that comes from this trio. So, if you haven't, tapped into, their DCA Live, Benjamin Cowan or Digital Asset News or Invest Answers with James, I highly recommend you start tapping in with that because they actually put out some great information with it. But with that being said, as you can see, adoption's happening. All this fear and all this FUD that's happened on, when you really zoom out, it really is merely interesting. I mean, look how much we've progressed in Bitcoin, over the past 10 years. It's just a matter of when this thing continues to pop forward. So personally, we're just going to continue to accumulate, hold strong, and until we're highly enticed to do so, to take profit, then we'll start taking profit on my end. But I just want to kind of share what I've been seeing in the market. Just know that, hey, it's so early. Believe it. I truly have high conviction. We are so early. Look at the adoption that's happening. It's nuts that we are literally this early to the party. With all that being said, stay strong, be safe.